Right, let's talk Chelsea then. We've been waiting to do that. Como linked with Liam Delap. Michael, is this a player who definitely needs a new start?
I believe so, yes. I believe so. I think it looks like maybe a very big jump from where he was, that great spell he had at Ipswich. And it's, it can be daunting sometimes. And I think how many strikers have Chelsea had over the last 20-odd years? I mean, a lot. Some work out, some don't.
That's not working out, is it? Two goals in 41 games.
No, for me, he needs a loan or a transfer. That's just my view from looking at Chelsea last season. I go back to it. They're not in Europe next season. If they did get a Conference League spot, he probably would have stayed and played. These players need to play. They need to play. And it's interesting with the Como link. Cesc Fabregas has certainly earned the right to choose who he wants. He's done an incredible job at Como, but I'm sure Liam Delap would have done a job at a few Premier League clubs.
Yeah, well, Everton were in for him. We spoke about that earlier.
£50 million they weren't.
They were last summer, before he went to Chelsea, and he had talks with David Moyes, and ultimately, not surprisingly, you're going to back yourself, aren't you? He's going to want that opportunity for Champions League football, or the opportunity to challenge for trophies and play in Europe. And therefore, he saw a better opportunity and backed himself at Chelsea. Ultimately, it's resulted in him not getting the game time he wanted and not scoring the goals that he would have wanted. And maybe he would have had more of an opportunity going to a side like Everton. But no time for regrets. He's got the opportunity this summer, potentially, to get that move. And Everton, again, are interested. But at £50 million, as you say, Mike, definitely not going to pay that. I wonder if this doesn't happen, this move to Como doesn't happen, or potential move, then maybe would Everton be able to get, or a team like Everton be able to get a loan deal as we get nearer that deadline?
Yeah, if he goes to Como, it's Champions League football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, a reminder of the breaking news.
But we do start with Enzo Fernandez. The deadline of 5 o'clock this evening for Manchester City to have made an offer for the midfielder has now passed. Chelsea have made it clear they want £120 million for Fernandez by 5 p.m. As things stand, our understanding is that no bid has been made. Let's speak live now to Alan Irwin for the very latest on this story. Alan, very good evening to you. 5 o'clock has come and gone. Have City made an offer?
Yeah, look, this was a deadline that Chelsea imposed themselves, and I always think that Manchester City were unlikely to play ball with a club imposing their own sanctions around transfer deadlines. So no offer has been forthcoming from Manchester City for Enzo Fernandez today. Now, the very fact that Chelsea won £120 million for his services may well make City depend on other factors, such as whether Rodri leaves the football club. Now, City's boss, Enzo Maresca, is a big admirer of Enzo Fernandez. There's no doubt about that. He understands exactly what he could bring to the club. He's a big admirer of the ability during his time he spent at Chelsea. But I think the transfer, if it was to come off, is very much dependent on whether Rodri leaves Manchester City for Barcelona. And today, Rodri back in the country and meeting up with Enzo Maresca this afternoon.
Let's just bring you further details from that then about that Enzo Fernandez deal. The verbal acceptable terms and conditions that were made available to Enzo Fernandez's representatives for potential interested clubs at the end of May is off the table. It is expected, we understand, that Enzo Fernandez will be at Chelsea for the 26-27 season. Let's get back to Alan, because you heard from Enzo Maresca a little bit earlier on. Alan, what did he have to say about everything to do with this deal?
Yeah, it was a press conference this morning that was essentially around the Community Shield game against Arsenal on Sunday in Cardiff, but it was always likely to be dominated by the talk of Enzo Fernandez, and that certainly was the case. Do Manchester City need Enzo Fernandez, given they've splashed out a club record £160 million on Elliot Anderson? Would it be dependent on Rodri leaving the club? And finally, does Enzo Maresca want Enzo Fernandez at Manchester City?
No, in this moment, again, I have to give you the same answer since day one, and will be always the same. It's a player from another club, and I don't think it's correct to speak about other players. In the same time, I don't think it's correct when other clubs they speak about our players. So that's why I'm not going to say nothing about players that they are not with us.
Do you anticipate having to do any transfer business today?
Not today, to be honest. I don't think we're going to do something today.
Alan, we can all say there is a deadline, but it's not an official deadline because the transfer window remains open. Do you think this story might run and run for the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, the transfer window does remain open until the 1st of September, so there is a possibility that Manchester City may test Chelsea's resolve. Even given the statement that you just read out there, Rob, there is a possibility that if Manchester City sell Rodri to Barcelona and they may be back in with another bid very shortly, then Enzo Fernandez could be a big target for Enzo Maresca and Manchester City. Now, these sort of deadlines have been imposed by clubs before. I think Manchester United back in 2020 when they tried to get Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund, and they failed after Dortmund imposed a deadline of their own, and they had to wait another year. So we never know in the transfer window, but the fact of the matter is, and listening to Enzo Maresca today at the press conferences, he does seem keen to strengthen the squad further. So I feel this has got an awful lot left in it yet, plenty of legs in it. It can run and run. Oh yeah, and by the way, there's a small matter of a football match for Manchester City to play on Sunday.
Listen, he's a quality player, you know, and I think a goal-scoring midfielder, tenacious midfielder. He's got an awful lot of character about him. There's no doubt. Steps up in the big moments and has done. You know, whether it's on international front or at league level, you know that he's got the ability to be amongst the elite in that midfield area. It's hard to come by, isn't it, when you start to look for midfielders that can come in and fill the role of Rodri. Because, as I said, I think he's one of the best, even though he did have that injury. I mean, Fernandez, you'd probably say he's the next one in line, isn't he? You know, for what he contributes.
Yeah. I mean, they've already spent 116 million on Elliot Anderson to go to centre midfield. Yeah. And you're going to have to fork out another 120 million to, what is it this summer with people rebuilding their midfield? I mean, it just seems to be a thing in the Premier League. Have City got the money? Is 60 million going to get them close enough? That's half of the Enzo Fernandez fee paid off, I suppose. What do you reckon? Do you see him in the light, going the sort of navy blue to the light blue?
Yeah, well, as I said, I think the Rodri move will definitely happen. Again, I think that, if anything, I think he's the one that they are certainly looking at to bring into the club. So I think there's always a dominoes effect, isn't there? That one goes, you know, that the one that they're looking at, and it will be Enzo that I think we'll end up seeing at Manchester City. A lot of money, I must admit. For two centre midfielders, you're spending an absolute fortune. It better work.